Hello guys, good night. I just want to thank you guys so much for all the love and support you've given me this year. I began this YouTube channel in order to help people learn their way in PvP because I think while PvP is slowly declining and there aren't that many rewards given as in comparison to PvE. So I think that if we talk more about PvP and get most players used to what the gameplay is like in a high rated PvP scenario, that they will play more PvP and we will have faster queues and a more solid PvP community. And thank you so much for all the love and support. I started out with 2 subscribers, stayed like that for a few months, and thanks to you guys and all the love you've given me, I managed to reach 100 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much. 100 is not a lot, it's not a significant amount, but it's a good start. Thank you so much, and please give me feedback. Tell me what you guys want to see, what content you guys want, so I can go ahead and provide that for you. Alright? And in honor to celebrate the 100 subscribers and to thank you for the support, I decided to put together this Havoc Demon Hunter PvP guide for patch 7.3.5, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so let's begin with our regular talents. In the level 99 tier, we have Fellblade, right? Charge your target and deal 355k fire damage, and Demon's Bite has a chance to reset the cooldown of Fellblade. The cool thing about this ability is that as a DH, you are already one of the most mobile classes in the game, and Fellblade just adds another mobility and another good damage dealer to your arsenal, right? And the way you want to use this ability is as a gap closer, or in order to generate the Fury so you could do your damage, alright? In our level 100 tier, we have Prepared, Demon Blades, and Demonic Appetite. For this tier, you want to choose Demon Blades. Right, Demon Blades replaces Demon Bite, and your auto types have a 60% chance to deal additional shadow damage and generate Fury. The reason you take this is because as a DH, it's pretty easy for you to keep uptime, and you dealing more damage with your auto attacks, and your auto attacks being shadow damage, right? This is always beneficial to you, right? So this is definitely the best talent in the level 100 tier. For the level 100 in 2 tier, we have Chaos Cleave, First Blood, and Bloodlet. Hands down, you want to choose Bloodlet. Throw Glaive causes the targets to bleed for 150% of the damage inflicted over 10 seconds. If this effect is reapplied, any remaining damage will be added to the new Bloodlet. Alright guys? This is really important for you guys to know. Any remaining damage will be added to the new Bloodlet. So the more times you use your Glaive Toss, the more damage the bleed will deal. Right? Keep this in mind, because later on we're going to talk about Master of the Glaive and how it synergizes perfectly well with Bloodlet. Right? For our next tier, we have Netherwalk, Desperate Instincts, and Soul Rending. You never want to take Soul Rending. It sucks ass. Ideally, against most cleaves, most comps that you fight, Desperate Instincts is the best choice. Blur now reduces damage taken by an additional 15%. Additionally, you automatically trigger Blur when you fall below 35% health. This effect can only occur when Blur is on a cooldown. So with this ability, you don't have to worry about manually activating Blur, right? So let's say you're in a situation where you're almost dying, like you know you're gonna get opened on by, for example, an RMP or these bursty type comps that wreck you at the start. This talent will allow you to live, because even if you're stunned, even if you're CC'd, it activates your Blur for you, so you don't have to waste a trinket to activate it. This is a very nice talent. In Netherwalk, you slip into the nether, increase your movement speed by 100%, and become immune to damage but unable to attack. Right? So this talent is very, very nice versus teams that you can't dodge things. For example, a Destrolock, an Arcane Mage, Boomy Destro, teams like that. Right? You can activate your Blur to reduce the damage, but if your team has no cooldowns to keep you up, a Netherwalk can save us many times, right? So you just have to decide, right, against what comp you're fighting and which talent to choose, right? For next tier, we have our momentum. This is our bread and butter, guys. Fell Rush and Vengeful Retreat increases your damage done by 20% for 4 seconds. This ability is what's making DHs do insane amounts of damage right now, because your Fell Rush is on a 10-second cooldown. So basically, you have 20% damage every 10 seconds, and if you time this ability with some of your damaging abilities, you can put out a lot of damage, right? So ideally, what you want to use is you want to Vengeful Retreat and double Glaive Toss. The reason is that when you Vengeful Retreat or Fell Rush, you get the 20% damage boost from momentum. That way, your Glaive Tosses will deal 20% more damage, and the bleeds will also deal 20% more damage. Now, it's very important that you keep in mind, if you do a Fell Rush, double Glaive Toss, and then in a few seconds, you Glaive Toss without the Fell Rush, it will deal less damage, as you can see. It will deal significantly less damage. So you only want to use your Glaive Toss after you get the momentum buff. Very important. Same thing with I-Beam, right? You have your I-Beam, you always want to use it with a 20% damage boost, alright? Please keep that in mind. For a level 108 tier, we have Master of the Glaive, Unleashed Power, and Demon Reborn. Hands down, Master of the Glaive is the best talent in this tier. It gives 2 charges and snares all enemies hit by 50% for 6 seconds. As a DH, you don't have a slow. This talent gives you slow, and it gives you 2 charges in your Glaive Toss, which means you can stack your Bloodlet Bleed twice. Very important talent, I definitely recommend it. In our last tier, we have Chaos Blades, Fell Barrage, and Demonic. Fell Barrage is a very, very powerful cooldown that when used right, you can solo people if timed right. The way you use this ability is that you always want to use Fell Rush after you always want to use Fell Barrage after you use Fell Rush and get the momentum buff. The reason is, your Fell Barrage already deals stupid amounts of damage. If you get the 20% damage buff, it'll deal even more. And you can use this as a way to force a cooldown, and then you can use your Metamorphosis on it. So I'll show you right now what you want to do, right? You want to Vengeful Retreat or Fell Rush, double Glaive Toss, right? You want to Fell Rush, Stun, Artifact, and Fell Barrage. Look at that. That is a lot of damage, right? Just from that one ability. And the cool thing is that your damaging abilities have a chance to reduce the cooldown of Fell Barrage by 5 seconds. This makes you a very deadly enemy if you play your class right, okay? So let's go ahead and move to our honor talents. Row 1, we want Trinket, always. It's always good to be able to freedom yourself to get a peel with the darkness or whatnot, right? In our second tier, we have Hardness, Reinforced Armor, and Sparring. Since the Legion health pools are already large, another 10% health increase is always beneficial, so you want to take a Reinforced Armor. If you fight a comp that has double melee, that does not have spell damage, such as a Warrior or a Windwalker Monk, then Sparring might be interesting, but besides that, Reinforced Armor. For next tier, you always want to take Cover of Darkness. Increases the chance for you and your allies to avoid damage within darkness by 50%. So your darkness already avoids 20% damage, plus another 50. That's 70% chance to evade all the damage. This ability can save your team if you time it right. Like you can counter this with a Smoke Bomb if your player cannot get out of the Smoke Bomb, right? If a Shaman pops Bloodlust and a Warrior Battle Cry, you fight against a Turbo, you could drop that. Finished all the damage. If a DK uses Icebound Fortitude or Monk uses Warrior the Crane, your team could jump inside the darkness and the DK won't get healed because he's gonna miss all the attacks, and the Monk won't be healing his team because he's also gonna be missing. This ability is a very powerful, very powerful cooldown if used right. Alright? In our next tier we have Unending Hatred, Reverse Magic, and Eye of Leotheris. Reverse Magic is the best talent because you can remove CCs from your team. So Polymorphs, Hodges, any type of magical CC except Cyclone, you can remove and deflect it back to the target. So you always want to communicate with your healer and use this ability if you can. But keep in mind, you have to be within 10 yards of your healer in order to dispel them. If you fight a team that you know won't be able to line CCs, you can use Eye of Leotheris, such as a Boomy Affliction Lock team, right? Or an Elemental Shaman Boomy team. You know, you'll be able to do a lot of damage with Eye. And you ideally want to wait until the healer is CC'd so you can use the Eye so it doesn't get dispelled. Okay, guys? In our next tier we have Awaken the Demon, Mana Rift, and Demonic Origins. Demonic Origins, hands down. The cooldown of Metamorphosis is reduced by 2 minutes but now lasts 15 seconds. While not in Metamorphosis, your damage is increased by 10%. This is very important talent, guys, because you get a passive 10% damage increase, and every time you fail rush, you get a 20% damage increase from momentum. So that means that you can have up to 30% increased damage from nothing. And then when you finally go into Metamorphosis, you do stupid damage with meta. I definitely recommend this talent if you want to get anywhere as a Havoc DH in PvP. In our last tier, we have a Rain from Above, Detainment, and Mana Break. Mana Break is dog shit. It got nerfed. It's between Rain from Above and Detainment. Detainment increases the PvP duration of Imprisoned by 1 second, and the targets become immune to damage and healing while imprisoned. But it's on a 45-second cooldown. This talent is very nice if you know how to use it, guys. Or let's say you're fighting a Holy Paladin team. You manage to burst on the DPS and they're at 10%, and that pally gets that ugly Hand of Sacrifice right when you're about to get the kill. What do? You use Detainment on the target. He won't be able to get healed, and his HP will stay the same. And then you guys can CC the pally after that. A very important talent. If your pally pops wings, right, you can use that too. You can even use your Imprisonment and a bop to negate all the healing. Right, you can use it as a peel. It's a very powerful ability if you know how to use it. Rain from Above you can take versus melee cleaves that know that they're gonna hit you. So for example, if you're fighting a turbo cleave and you get swapped on, you can just Rain from Above, there goes all their damage. Right, very powerful. You can switch between the two. Alright guys, so now I'm gonna show you guys in a duel of how you're gonna be doing your damage in a rotation. But before that, I want to show you on the target dummy. Alright, so ideally when the arena starts, you just want to go in. Alright, mount up, you see the target, you want to go Fell Rush, double Grave Toss, right? You want to use your stun, artifact, Fell Barrage, Warglaive again, Fell Rush, meta, and just spam Chaos Strike. Spam Chaos Strike. Spam Chaos Strike. Spam Chaos Strike. Right? Fell Rush again. Glaive Toss. Glaive Toss. Chaos Strike. Chaos Strike. Chaos Strike. Right? And that is how you deal damage as a DH. Alright guys? Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you a lot. Have a good night. And see you next time. Guys, so I have my friend Enya here. She's a Wrestle Druid. She's gonna help me show you guys how the rotation is gonna be. So first of all, you want to use your Fell Rush because you get this buff right here, Momentum, which increases your damage by 20%. Right? So you ideally want to use your Throglaive only when you have Momentum up, so you get the full buffed Warglaive damage and bleed damage. So here, let's take a look at that. Double Throglaive. Do you see? The bleed with the buff, right? And ideally, you would want to use Revengeful Retreat and Fell Barrage all the time. Also, so you get the 20% buff increase. As you can see, it does a significant amount of damage, right? And your damage rotation during Metamorph will be just to generate enough fury, right? And then you want to use your stun, use your artifact, Fell Rush, and Metamorph and just spam your Chaos Blades. That's it. That's all you want to do. As you can see, significant damage. And you can always use your mobility attacks to keep your bleeds up in your Fell Barrage all the time. Alright? But basically, that's what you want to do as a DH. You want to go in there, right, and use your abilities normally, but you only want to use your Glaive Toss and your I-Beam after you get the buff. Right, after using Fell Rush or Vengeful Retreat, right? Just like that. Alright guys. And in regards to the Blade Dance, since it gives you 100% dodge, you want to use that ability when you think that you're going to be taking a lot of damage, or like when a warrior uses a sharpened blade on you. Then you want to use it because you will dodge the next ability on you. Alright? Thank you so much, and I hope that was helpful.